December the 12th, Our Lady of Guadalupe. Every Mexican loves Our Lady of Guadalupe is a popular saying that reflects the profound love professed in this country for the Virgin of Guadalupe. One of the main characteristics of Mexico's people is that they are profoundly religious. Nearly 90% of the population say they are Roman Catholic believers, and of these, all worship the Virgin of Guadalupe. There are altars dedicated to the Virgin, and images of her are practically everywhere, in the markets, in cars and trucks, in homes, at taxi stands, and even in the lottery booth. She is the patron saint of Mexico and accompanies all her children in their daily work. The athlete cannot go onto the court without first asking her for luck. The Guadalupana is thanked for the sales of the day. From an altar, she cares for the factory workers. And naturally, she watches over our sleep. Where does this great fervor for the Virgin of Guadalupe come from? Essentially, from the fact that she is the Mexican Virgin. She chose Mexico for her appearances. She distinguished Mexicans with this event, and therefore, she is the mother of all. The Virgin of Guadalupe is more than a religious symbol. She is a national symbol. The nationalism of a poor but generous people is combined with religious fervor in the Virgin of Guadalupe. She is the perfect union between the mystical, the spiritual, and earthly life. The factory worker, the businessman, the secretary, the gardener and the shoeshine boy, the housewife and the student, and of course children, acknowledge the Mother of God in the Virgin of Guadalupe, and they especially love her as the mother of all Mexicans. In short, despite the existence of economic, cultural, and social differences, all Mexicans find a point of union in the Virgin of Guadalupe because she is Mexican, and because one of her greatest miracles is achieving the union of such a diverse people in a single faith. Faith in the Virgin of Guadalupe.
Se dice que el milagro más grande de la Virgen de Guadalupe es la unión de este país. ¿Usted cree que sigue haciendo ese milagro?
Si lo hablamos en cuanto a la fe, sí. Yo creo que la Santísima Virgen nos sigue unificando. Es la madre de todos. Ella nos los dijo, aquí voy a estar para escucharlos, soy su madre, hablando del pueblo de México.
Religion has always been present in the lives of Mexicans. From pre-Hispanic times, it was thought that the world was dominated by supernatural forces. There was a god for each aspect of life in ancient Mexico, and there were celebrations and rituals for every occasion. Religion was unquestionably the regulating force in the life of the indigenous nations. Pre-Hispanic Mexico was polytheistic. There was a god for each economic activity, such as fishing, hunting, trade, and agriculture. Another for each natural phenomenon, rain, wind, fire. and another for the astral bodies such as the sun, the moon, or the stars. With the arrival of the Spaniards on the American continent, they discovered a profoundly mystical world, but they found religious rites based on human sacrifices, worship of gods through death. Added to their astonishment at the majesty of the ceremonial centers and the perfect religious organization of the natives, these people who were involved in paganism also frightened them. So the conquistadores took on the task of converting the natives to the Catholic faith, and of course forbidding them their traditional religious rites. At that time, a large part of the conversion strategy was based on substituting the pre-Hispanic gods for Catholic deities and destroying the pagan temples in order to build churches. One of the most important idols in ancient Mexico was the goddess Todatzin, which means our Mother, Lady Earth, who had a small sanctuary on the Tepeyac Hill. It was in the year 1531, just 10 years after the Spanish military conquest of Tenochtitlan, on that same Tepeyac Hill, that the Virgin of Guadaloupe appeared, the Dark Virgin, who would be sanctified as the Queen of Mexico. It happened on the morning of December the 9th, 1531, when a humble, simple man called Juan Diego made the trip between his village and the village of Tlatelolco, where he was going to attend the Holy Mass. On the way, when he reached the foot of the Tepeyac mountain, something told him that this was a special place. Coming from the summit, he heard the song of many birds. Feeling a warm tranquility, he climbed the hill. And to his astonishment, it was then that he saw the image of the Holy Virgin. He kneeled before her, and with immense devotion listened to what she asked of him. Know and understand, you, the smallest of my children, that I am the everlasting Virgin Mary. I want you to build a church here, that in it I may show and give all my love, all my compassion. There I will listen to those who beseech me, who seek me out, who trust in me. The Virgin asked Juan Diego to go to see the bishop and tell him of her wish. The man obeyed and gave his message to the bishop. But the bishop was not much convinced and told him to bring proof. On December the 12th, Juan Diego again saw the Virgin, who told him to climb the hill and cut the flowers that were there. The many roses he found were to be the proof he would take to the bishop. He obeyed and cut as many flowers as he could fit into his ayate, or cloak, and he took them to the Virgin, who ordered him to present them only to the bishop. When he stood before the bishop, Juan Diego stretched open his ayate. The roses fell to the floor, and on his apron there appeared the image of the Holy Virgin. When he saw this wonder, this wondrous thing, the bishop kneeled down, acknowledging the hand of God. The ayate was a garment used by the simple, poor people of Mexico and was hand-woven with thread made from the maguey plant. The roughness of the cloth made painting on it impossible. According to much scientific evidence, the image of the Virgin was not painted. Its formation is inexplicable. It is a miracle.
Ella va a ser ese lazo de unión de decirle al indígena, mira, lo que los evangelizadores te están enseñando, lo que el misionero te propone es la verdad. Y para el evangelizador, el obispo en este caso, era decirle, el indígena tiene valores, tiene valores, tiene alma, que la Santísima Virgen lo escoge para que sea el enlace contigo. Fue revalorizarlos a los dos, unos a los ojos de los otros, ponerlos en el mismo plano.
The image of the Virgin measures 1 meter 43 centimeters from the head to the angel who appears at her feet. Her face communicates tenderness and peace. Her hair is black and her skin dark, like the Mexican people. The pre-Hispanic goddess was transformed into the Catholic Virgin, so as to be able to continue looking after her children. Since then, the Little Virgin, or the Guadalupana, as she is affectionately known, watches over the well-being of the Mexican people. The sanctuary she asked Juan Diego for was built on the Tepeyac Hill and is called the Guadalupe Basilica. The image of the Virgin has been deeply connected with the history of Mexico. In particular, when the struggle for independence from the Spanish yoke began, the priest Miguel Hidalgo called Mexicans to rise up in arms with an image of the Virgin of Guadalupe as their standard. 100 years later, during the Mexican Revolution, Emiliano Zapata's troops cried "Vivas" to Our Lady of Guadalupe. Her image is definitely the symbol of that which is Mexican. Like a real mother, the Virgin is asked for all kinds of help. Prayers are said to her for the health of the faithful, for economic well-being, for peace. Among her worshippers is the person who enters on his knees to beg forgiveness or to thank her for a favor received, or the man who swears to the Virgin not to commit a particular wrongdoing again. The alcoholic will swear not to drink again. The unemployed will ask for a job opportunity, the sick man for health. And in exchange for relief and for pardon, the Virgin of Guadalupe has all the faith, devotion, and hope of an entire people who love her.
Y cada persona va llenando su, ¿verdad?, con su nombre, pero lo van gritando ahí en delante del sacerdote. Yo, fulano de tal, juro ante Dios y ante la Virgen Santísima de Guadalupe, no tomar o no hacerle las drogas durante el término de, ya se le pone aquí, ¿verdad?, la fecha y el vencimiento.
Exacto, y luego ¿qué hace con el papelito?
El papelito normalmente, cuando uno lo tiene lleno,
Sí.
ya después del juramento se lo lleva uno y no lo trae hasta que se cumple el juramento, ya sea una semana, un día, un mes, un año, toda la vida, ¿verdad?
Así es.
¿Quién va a jurar? Pásenle, al fondo a la izquierda.
It is not an exaggeration to say that December the 12th, the date on which the appearance of the Virgin is commemorated, is Mexico's national fiesta par excellence. On this day, thousands of faithful from around the entire country make the pilgrimage to the Basilica of Guadalupe, the most important of all those that are made in the year. In the atrium, which joins the former Guadalupe Church that was inaugurated in 1895, the year of the coronation of the Sacred Image, with the new basilica, completed in 1976, the children of the Guadalupana gather year after year. From the day before the great celebration, thousands and thousands of people begin to arrive. Many of them make the trip from their place of origin by bicycle. Trucks follow them to provide assistance if necessary and a place to rest at night. In the morning, they begin the fervent voyage again. These trucks are decorated with the image of the Virgin and with flowers.
Pues nosotros venimos a cada año aquí, hacemos una peregrinación que se hace para venir a visitar a la Santísima Virgen de Guadalupe. Lo hacemos de mucho corazón todos los que venimos de Hidalgo.
¿De Hidalgo? ¿De qué parte de Hidalgo?
De Presas Hidalgo.
¿Cuánta gente viene?
Venimos aproximadamente por allá casi 1,200 a 1,500 peregrinos.
The monumental atrium of more than 46,000 square feet begins to fill up. There is a market where all sorts of images of the Virgin are sold, as well as mementos of the visit to the Basilica. While some pilgrims arrive on their knees as a signal of their enormous devotion to the Guadalupana, others offer up continual dancing. These dances are a mixture of pre-Hispanic and Catholic rituals. Hymns to the Dark Virgin are also common. At night, the atrium is completely filled with pilgrims. It is the custom for famous Mexican artists to go to the basilica to serenade the Virgin and sing Las Mañanitas to her, the Mexican equivalent of Happy Birthday. In Huamantla, in the state of Tlaxcala, beautiful sawdust decorations are made in the streets for the Virgin to pass over during the procession. Practically everywhere there is an altar to the Virgin. A special celebration is held on her day. For example, a priest has been brought to this taxi stand to officiate a mass in her honor. Thanks are given to the Virgin for all the blessings she has given, and she is asked for well-being in the future. The priest then blesses the keys of the taxis. At daybreak, in every corner of the country, one hears the explosion of rockets that crown this great fiesta dedicated to the mother of all Mexicans, the Dark Virgin, the Virgin of Guadalupe. ...12 de diciembre. 12 de diciembre. Virgen de Guadalupe. Virgen de Guadalupe. Peregrinos. peregrinos, fe, fe, baile, baile, canción, canción, flores, flores, iglesia, iglesia, rodillas, rodillas, misa, misa, cura, cura, Santísima Madre, Santísima Madre, hijos, hijos, día, día, noche, noche, promesa, promesa, indio, indio, milagro, milagro,